Do you know that there's a man in his 90s who still ranks among the richest in America? Do you know that one billionaire literally owns an entire Hawaiian island? Do you know that someone's fortune has ballooned so much it's now flirting with $500 billion? And here's the kicker. Do you know that you're about to find out all this and so much more right here in today's countdown? Stick around because we're counting down the top 10 richest people in the United States, October 2025 edition. But first, make sure you smash that like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell because who doesn't want front row seats to the lifestyles of America's ultimate money monarchs? All right, let's dive in. Number 10, Micheal Dell. Age, 60. Born February 23rd, 1965. Net worth, $129 to $141 billion. Source of wealth, Dell Technologies. World ranking, number 11. Residence, Austin, Texas. At number 10, we've got Micheal Dell. Yes, the guy whose name is still printed on laptops in classrooms, dorm rooms, and boardrooms around the world. Micheal Dell started his empire in 1984 from his college dorm room, building custom PCs. Fast forward 40 decades, and the company he built, Dell Technologies, is one of the world's largest technology firms, fueling everything from data storage to cybersecurity. What's fascinating is how low-key Dell has remained compared to his flashier billionaire peers. He's not out here launching spaceships or tweeting about alien conspiracies. Instead, he's quietly amassed a fortune north of $130 billion while living in Austin, Texas. Fun fact, he owns the most expensive house ever built in Austin, and his investment firm MSD Capital has stakes in everything from hotels to energy companies. Think of him as the silent billionaire assassin of the list. Number 9, Warren Buffett. Age, 95. Born August 30th, 1930. Net worth, $147 to $150 billion. Source of wealth, Berkshire Hathaway. World ranking, number 10. Residence, Omaha, Nebraska. At 95 years old, Warren Buffett is proving that investing is basically the world's best anti-aging cream. Known as the Oracle of Omaha, he still lives in the modest Nebraska home he bought in 1958 for $31,500. That's less than the cost of some of today's Teslas. Warren Buffett's wealth comes from his company, Berkshire Hathaway, a conglomerate with stakes in Coca-Cola, Apple, insurance firms, railroads, and basically every industry you can imagine. But here's what makes Buffett unique. He's the richest man alive, but doesn't spend like it. No mega yachts, no palaces, just McDonald's breakfasts and cherry Coke. If frugality was an Olympic sport, Buffett would win gold while sitting on a $150 billion fortune. Number 8, Steve Ballmer. Age, 69. Born March 24th, 1956. Net worth, $151 to $155 billion. Source of wealth, Microsoft and sports. World ranking, number 9. Residence, Hunts Point, Washington. Coming in at number 8, Steve Ballmer, the most enthusiastic billionaire you'll ever meet. He made his fortune at Microsoft, where his animated stage antics became legendary. Today, he's the proud owner of the Los Angeles Clippers, an NBA team he bought for $2 billion in 2014, now worth over $4 billion. Ballmer is not just rich, he's energetic. His "let's go" moments are meme-worthy, and his philanthropic donations are massive. He and his wife have pledged billions toward education and poverty relief. Despite his high-energy personality, Ballmer is a pretty private billionaire compared to Musk or Bezos, but his fortune keeps him firmly in the top 10.
Number 7, Jensen Huang. Age, 62. Born February 17, 1963. Net worth, $151 to $162 billion. Source of wealth, NVIDIA. World ranking, number 7. Residence, San Francisco, California. At number 7 is Jensen Huang, the man who basically turned graphics cards into gold bars. As co-founder and CEO of NVIDIA, Huang has been riding the AI wave like a surfer on a perfect California beach. In 2025, NVIDIA isn't just powering gaming consoles, it's the backbone of artificial intelligence, machine learning, and self-driving cars. Huang's signature look? A leather jacket, which has become as iconic as his company's chips. His net worth has ballooned past $150 billion, making him one of the fastest rising billionaires in history. He's proof that nerds really did inherit the earth, and then sold it back to us on a markup. Number 6. Sergey Brin. Age: 52. Born August 21, 1973. Net worth: $170 to $188 billion. Source of wealth: Google/Alphabet. World ranking: number 6. Residence: Malibu and Los Altos, California. At number 6 is Sergey Brin, the man who co-founded Google and gave humanity the world's greatest procrastination tool. Brin, along with Larry Page, built Google in a Stanford dorm room in 1998. Today, Google isn't just a search engine, it's practically the internet itself. Brin has stepped back from the daily grind at Alphabet, but remains heavily involved in philanthropy and cutting-edge projects like space exploration and renewable energy. His wealth? Around $180 billion. Fun fact, Brin is also a passionate pilot and has a soft spot for adventure. Imagine being worth nearly $200 billion and still strapping yourself into experimental planes for fun. Number 5. Larry Page. Age: 52. Born March 26, 1973. Net worth: $185 to $203 billion. Source of wealth: Google/Alphabet. World ranking: number 5. Residence: Palo Alto, Fiji, and New Zealand. Sliding into the number 5 spot is Larry Page, the other half of Google's founding duo. While Sergey Brin likes to keep things adventurous, Page has leaned into his reclusive genius vibe. Splitting his time between California and his islands in Fiji and New Zealand, Page has become somewhat of a mysterious billionaire. His net worth? Around $200 billion. His company? Still one of the most powerful entities on Earth. And his vision? A world where information flows as freely as air. The next time you type a question into Google, remember, Larry Page is quietly cashing in on every search. Number 4. Jeff Bezos. Age: 61. Born January 12, 1964. Net worth: $234 to $241 billion. Source of wealth: Amazon, Blue Origin. World ranking: number 4. Residence: Miami, Florida. At number 4, we've got Jeff Bezos, the man who turned online book sales into a global empire called Amazon. Bezos might have stepped down as Amazon's CEO, but don't think he's retired. Between his space company Blue Origin, his $500 million yacht, and his Miami mansion, Bezos is living the billionaire dream. In 2025, Bezos' wealth hovers around $240 billion. He's also heavily invested in media, he owns the Washington Post, and cutting-edge tech. And let's be honest, when you're that rich, grocery shopping probably means sending a drone to Whole Foods.
Number 3. Mark Zuckerberg. Age: 41, born May 14, 1984. Net worth: $253 to $265 billion. Source of wealth: Meta, Facebook. World ranking: number 3, and residence: Palo Alto, California. At number 3, it's Mark Zuckerberg, the man who went from building Facebook in a cramped Harvard dorm room to building the metaverse in Silicon Valley, and somehow became both a meme and a mogul at the same time. In 2025, Zuckerberg's net worth sits at around $260 billion, fueled by Meta's dominance in virtual reality, social networking, and AI innovation. What once seemed like a risky pivot from a social media company to a futuristic tech empire is now looking like one of the boldest and smartest moves in Silicon Valley history. Meta's VR platforms have become as mainstream as smartphones, with millions of people hanging out, working, and even shopping in the digital world Zuck dreamed up. Of course, the path hasn't been smooth. Zuckerberg has weathered privacy scandals, political controversies, endless congressional grillings, and enough "is he a robot" memes to last a lifetime. Yet every time he's knocked down, he comes back stronger, adapting, rebranding, and proving that underestimating him is always a mistake. What's especially fascinating is how Zuck has grown into his own quirky persona. Once the awkward, hoodie-wearing CEO who made small talk sound like a software update, he's now leading into his inner dad-core energy, posting family photos, learning mixed martial arts, and showing off a more human side while still working on reshaping the internet's future.
It's that mix of relatability and ambition that makes Zuckerberg stand out. He's a father of 3 who shares cute family moments online, yet at the same time, he's plotting to create the digital universe where our kids might one day live, work, and play. That's range. Number 2, Larry Ellison. Age 81, born August 17, 1944. Net worth $343 to $383 billion. Source of wealth, Oracle. World ranking number 2, and residence Lanai, Hawaii. At number 2, it's Larry Ellison, the billionaire samurai of Silicon Valley and one of the last tech moguls who manages to combine old-school flair with futuristic ambition. Ellison made his fortune as the co-founder of Oracle, the enterprise software and database giant that quietly powers much of the corporate world. While most billionaires fade into the background by their 80s, Ellison, now 81, is still stacking billions like chips at a poker table. His net worth hovers around $370 billion, making him one of the richest people alive. But it's not just about the money, it's about how he spends it. Ellison's lifestyle reads like the script of a Hollywood blockbuster. He literally owns the Hawaiian island of Lanai, where he's not just a resident, but essentially the landlord of paradise. Imagine being able to wake up, sip coffee, and casually say, yeah, that mountain over there is mine. That's Larry Ellison's daily reality. Then there are the toys, yachts the size of small cruise ships, private jets, sprawling estates, and beachfront mansions that would make even James Bond jealous. He's a collector of luxury on a scale few can comprehend, blending high-tech wizardry with a taste for ancient Japanese samurai aesthetics, swords, gardens, and architecture included. What makes Ellison even more fascinating is how he's managed to stay relevant in an industry that moves at warp speed. While newer names like Musk and Zuckerberg dominate headlines, Ellison continues to exert influence behind the scenes. His investments in cloud technology, AI, and even wellness ventures on Lanai prove he's still shaping the future, just while living like a real-life Bond villain plotting from his private island lair.
Number 1. Elon Musk. Age 54. Born June 28, 1971. Net worth $384 to $500 billion. Source of wealth: Tesla, SpaceX, X, formerly Twitter. World ranking: number 1. Residence: Boca Chica, Texas.
The man who makes being a billionaire look less like a business title and more like a full-time performance art piece. Musk's wealth is staggering, swinging anywhere between $384 and $500 billion, depending on whether Tesla stock is mooning or crashing, or if SpaceX just nailed another rocket landing. That's nearly $500 billion. But Musk isn't just about electric cars and reusable rockets anymore. Oh no. With Tesla pushing the limits of EVs and artificial intelligence, SpaceX plotting humanity's escape route to Mars, and X, the platform formerly known as Twitter, morphing into his dream of an everything app, Musk is shaping the future in ways even the boldest sci-fi writers couldn't predict. And then there's his flair for chaos. Whether it's trolling world leaders on social media, live streaming car launches into orbit, or casually suggesting we nuke Mars to make it habitable. Love him or hate him, you can't ignore him. Elon Musk is the undisputed king of US billionaires in 2025. And if history is any guide, this isn't the peak. It's just the beginning of whatever wild chapter comes next. Will it be Mars colonies, AI overlords, or just another meme that crashes Dogecoin and makes them a few more billion overnight? With Musk, you never really know. So there you have it, the top 10 richest people in the United States, October 2025 edition. From Micheal Dell's quiet empire to Elon Musk's $500 roller coaster, these billionaires aren't just rich, they're rewriting the rules of business, technology, and even how we imagine the future. What if you had their wealth? Would you build rockets, buy islands, or maybe just finally pay off those student loans? Either way, one thing is clear. In the world of money, these 10 names are the ultimate bosses of 2025. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon for more deep dives into the world of wealth, luxury, and power. And hey, drop a comment below. If you had $500 billion, what's the first thing you'd buy? Until next time, stay curious, stay entertained,
and keep dreaming big.